Welcome to the Boxing Bookie. We are back with another episode of the Boxing Bookie. We got some good odds for you today. A lot of parlays that I like. I want to take any questions, comments, concerns, super chats as well. World of Wrestling, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I'm ready to start. I got a lot to get into, a lot of good fights, lots of action. It went from a quiet weekend to a busy weekend. It's a low-key great weekend for hardcores. The hardcores can make some money this weekend. I think you're going to get a lot of casuals laying off the action today, this week, but I think the hardcores are going to make some noise. I think this is a really, really good week for the hardcores. What up, Rocket? What up, my man? All right. So let's just get right into it. I dropped the Ryan Garner and Archie Sharp video last night. I'm dropping tonight. I will be dropping Michel Rivera and Hugo Roldan, which is an interesting fight, competitive fight. Hugo Roldan is a fun fighter, aggressive fighter, action first, puncher without a bunch of pop, right? If he could hit, he'd be a lot better than he is, but he's not a puncher at all. So it makes the fight really, really interesting. And I think Michel Rivera, who is not hyper athletic, but is very, very fundamentally sound, high ring IQ guy. So that's going to be an interesting fight. All right. Why is this? Why is this like this? Hang on. All right, you guys, if y'all ready to get started, let's pull up some odds. Let's find some parlays. So Friday night, we got a UFC Fight Pass card. Omar Trinidad. I like this a lot. The rest of this, I would probably lay off of. Omar Trinidad is a nice little bet that you can add to your parlay, help bring down the odds. 15-0 prospect. He had a draw really, really early in his career, his first fight actually. He's run off in Mexico at a very young age. Disregard that. So the last 6 years, basically, he's strung together 15 consecutive wins, and he'll go for number 16 here against Victor Slavanovsky. Slavanovsky is a Ukrainian guy who lost to Eddie Vasquez, lost to Claudio Marrero, which is kind of how you know him. He fought Juan Antonio Lopez to a competitive. He actually got the split decision, majority draw, I think. Majority decision, I think. Yeah, it was a majority decision over Juan Antonio Lopez. But he's a decent fighter. What up, Muscles? What up? But I think this is a fight that we can make some money on. I don't love the odds, but Omar Trinidad should definitely win that fight. The rest of this, I'd probably lay off of. I think the minus 700 on Goryansky and Aram Amaskan is way too wide. That's more of a 50-50 fight. If you really want to roll the dice on this, if you really want to be a gambler, you might want to take him at plus 450. I like the odds in that. I saw the odds in that. I thought they were completely outrageous. So I would lay off this fight unless I wouldn't parlay this. I know Rocket might, because Rocket likes to roll the dice, and that's cool. But this is not Gore Yakitskin should not, Yakirtsian should not be a minus 700. This should be much, much closer. Maybe a plus 300, plus 400. This is much, much, much too wide. This is a much closer fight than that, and you guys will see it if you do watch this card Friday night. The rest of this decent stuff. Bring down the odds. Brandon Lee. They still don't have the props on this, but if you'd like, when they do drop the props, come on over, join the Patreon if you guys haven't. Brandon Lee by knockout is probably a nice little bet to throw in your parlay. I definitely think Brandon Lee by knockout comes through. Yeah, next week there's a lot of fights to make money on. Roll the Russell said, I'm looking forward to the Crawford pay-per-view next week. 100%. That's going to be a pay-per-view. You know, it's a busy week. Lots of good action. I think Marjamov is a live dog, and I'm looking forward to doing all those videos and breaking all that down. I'm not going to bet against Crawford, but if you really, really want to take a gamble, if you're really wanting to, you know, try to make some money, Marjamov, if I can find the odds on this. Where is he at right now? At plus 500. It's an interesting bet. Marjamov at plus 500. I like that a lot. You know, if you're like, look, if you're asking me who's going to win, I'm not going to bet against Crawford ever. But there's not money to be made on him, really. He's minus 750. So if you're looking to gamble, I think, like, this is telling me Marjamov is a 5-1 underdog. He's not that much of an. I understand Crawford is the better fighter, but plus 500, Marjamov's got a real chance against 38-year-old Terrence Crawford. He's got a real chance, like a very, very real chance. This is something I love. Jared Anderson, that's going to be the root of my bet of next week's lock. It's going to be Jared Anderson at 195. He's not losing to Piccoli. That you can throw that out. So we can build something around that. Andy Cruz at minus 2,000. I mean, that's about right. You're not going to make much money on that. But these are things that we can bet. But back to this week. Ergashev, minus 8. I did that video too. Ergashev video's out too. Ergashev at minus 800. Love that bet. Love that bet. I want to bet this fight does not go the distance. If you want to take Ergashev by stoppage, it's a good bet. There's no props out on that. Rocket, can you tell me, Rocket, if you got any props on the Ergashev fight and the Brandon Lee fight? If you have any props on that, I want to see where the odds are on stoppages, and the props will come out either tomorrow or Friday. I'm waiting on them, man. I gotta have them. I gotta have them. I gotta have them, my man. Probably, yeah. You know, my bet would be Ergashev by stoppage. I want to see what the odds are. That fight is not going the distance. Someone is getting put to sleep in that fight. So I like Ergashev. I like Ergashev by stoppage, depending on what the odds are. You know, if that's paying close to even money or positive money, I like it a lot. I think that's worth it. Crawford is winning that probably. Like Crawford's probably going to win that fight. But at plus 500, like I said this a while ago, and this is a big if, I'm not picking Crawford loses to anyone at 47 or 54. If there's anyone in those two weight classes that could beat him, if he were to lose, and you were to say, who did he lose to? I would say Marjamov. Now, again, yes, Crawford should be the favorite to win that fight. Crawford is the best guy in and around those weight classes. Smartest and safest thing to do is bet Crawford money line and parlay him to bring down the odds. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Parlay him just off the bat. You want a nice little parlay that's almost certainly going to hit. Crawford at what was he minus 750, and Jared Big Baby Anderson at minus 195. Minus 750, minus 195. What do you got there on those odds? Bring that, you know. Guys, Rocket, go watch the tape on Marjamov. Look, he's probably not going to win. I understand that. That's why he's plus 500. What I'm saying is, if you have a gambler's spirit and you want to bet on an upset, it's not a terrible bet. It's not a terrible one to bet on. That's all I'm saying. No way Crawford is losing after he beat the crap out of Errol Spence. That was I agree. I'm not sitting here telling you Marjamov's going to win. What I'm saying is it's with the odds the way they are. If you have a gambler's spirit, Marjamov is not a terrible bet. Do I think Crawford's going to win? Yes, I think Crawford's going to win the fight. But at minus 750, it doesn't really pay. At plus 500, Marjamov looks, that's kind of a sexy bet right there. Like if you miss it, we'll just hit on our parlay. We'll parlay Piccoli and Andy Cruz and three things that aren't going to miss. We'll make that decision when we get there, and we'll take the over on on two broads fighting who can't knock each other out, and we'll just make money on it. But I agree, Crawford, 95% chance that Crawford wins that fight. Agreed. Look, if Crawford, Muscle says you will be surprised how Crawford makes his fight look. He will show levels. Look, Muscles. Crawford is a perfect fighter, right? Like I often compare him to Kawhi Leonard, right? If you watch basketball and you watch peak Kawhi Leonard, like Kawhi Leonard with the Toronto Raptors, he's kind of the perfect basketball player. Well, what could he do better? Well, I mean, nothing really. He's kind of complete in everything that he does. Crawford is like that. Crawford is complete in everything that he does. No props. Hawk is in the house. Hawk is in the house. Hawk, over under. Zach Wilson starts 4.5 games this year. Over under. 4.5 starts for Zach Wilson. What are you taking? McCann minus 150 by decision. Joe Joyce minus 210 by KO. Yeah. Yeah. But I got to admit, Madrimov is probably the most dangerous fight. Crawford has us. That's my point, right? Like, no one's going to fight him tougher than Madrimov. Do I think Madrimov's going to win? Probably not. But it's worth it. I was saying it might be worth a gamble at plus 500. Slam the under. This is interesting to me, Hawk, right? Because Hawk is a Jet fan. He's the biggest Zach Wilson fan out there. That quarterback room is awful. Like, someone's got to start. And I feel like all three quarterbacks at Denver, I feel like all three of them may get the ball at some point. Kind of like what happened with the Jets last year when you had Zach Wilson, Boyle, and Simeon. Like, we're just going to play quarterback merry-go-round here and hope one of them plays well that week. Thoughts on Jared Anderson next week? He's minus 210 on Hard Rock. All right, he's minus 210 on Hard Rock. He's minus 190. He's minus 190 on DraftKings. I think this is easy money. I think this is basically stealing money. I don't think there's really any chance Jared Anderson loses to Martin Bacoli. I don't see that at all. Can you guys see this? You can. Minus 195 on DraftKings. That is a great bet. Like, if you want to bring that down a little bit, here. Jared, here. Guys, I'm giving you a lock of the week next week. 4-leg parlay. Rocket, Muscle, someone parlay this for me. I'm giving you next week's lock right now. Jared Anderson, Andy Ruiz, David Morrell, Andy Cruz. Someone parlay these four numbers. Minus 195, minus 350, minus 2,000, minus 3,000. So, ooh, this is a sexy fight right here. Someone parlay those odds. Minus 195, minus 350, minus 2,000, minus 3,000. Tell me what those total odds are. I saw some videos on Ergashev opponent. He's very flawed and have himself wide open. The fight definitely not going the distance. Yeah, Ergashev's like both guys, Ergashev and Julian Smith, are very, very, very flawed. Very flawed. And they both like to come forward. Julian Smith can punch. Like, he's flawed, but he knows what he is, and he knows that he's a seek and destroy, come forward guy. He doesn't throw a lot, he doesn't waste a lot, but he commits to every single shot that he throws. He's athletic enough, he can move a little bit, he can try to get inside, and he's going to go for a knockout. I think almost certainly, while he's going for the knockout, while he's fighting to win, he gets knocked out. Julian Smith is not going to fight to survive. I can promise you that. He's going to go in there, guns blazing, like he does, loading up on every power shot that he throws. Hawk says Stedham can at least game. Like, that's Bo looks as good as Zach as a rookie, so Zach is QB3. Unless major injury, he's not playing. Stidham should start the year with Bo coming in midseason. I don't necessarily disagree. I don't think that's a bad take. I think Bo Nix sucks. I think Bo Nix is going to be benched at some point due to injury, and then like it's Stidham or Zach and whatever. So, okay, so Rocket minus 101. So basically, we're looking at pretty close to even money on that 4-leg parlay. Look at this, guys. Look how safe this parlay is. Ruiz beats Gerald Miller. Yeah, obviously Andy Ruiz beats Big Baby Miller. David Morrell beats Rad Kalajdzic. And we've seen Kalajdzic on Well, we saw him fight early at PBC, but we've seen him fight a lot on the Pro Box series on Wednesdays. He's pretty good. David Morrell is the best super middleweight in the world, I would say. Like, I think David Morrell beats Benavidez and he beats Canelo. Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. This should be mine. Like, does Antonio Moran, who I like, have any chance of beating any at all? Any chance at all of beating Andy Cruz? And I don't think Piccoli has any chance of beating Jared Anderson. You guys want a lock next week? That is a lock, and it pays even money. It pays a slightly plus money on DraftKings, and it pays -101 on Hard Rock. Guys, this is the parlay right here. This is next week's lock for you today. We're still gonna get you a lock this week, but that thing, that is a parlay. Guys, look at this. This is what I'm saying. That's easy money. Give me 1 minute. Let me. You want to add Crawford to the parlay? Because like it's hard for me to tell you. We'll get to this week's parlay in a minute. That's a fair question. That's the title of the show. We'll get to that in just a minute. I already gave you next week's parlay, which you guys should place now. World of Wrestling goes, why not add Crawford to that parlay too? Yeah, I mean, sure. I would just feel, sure, add Crawford to it, and then make a side bet on Madrimov to win the money line, right? So that way I got you covered. If Crawford hits, you get that 5-leg parlay now. If Crawford doesn't hit, then you make money on Madrimov on the money line. Bang. See? There you go, World of Wrestling. I would do that. I'd place a bet on the other side on Madrimov winning. All right. You guys want this week's parlay? Let's get into this week's parlay. Let's look at some possible parlays. What did they just add? There's more stuff on Friday? What card is this? All right. Omar Trinidad. Let's start with Omar Trinidad. Brandon Lee. Joe Joyce. All right. So here's what I'm interested in. Guys. If we add Crawford to that parlay, it becomes a 5-leg parlay at plus 137. And there's still nothing that risky in it. Like, there's nothing risky in that parlay. The biggest risk is that one of the 5, something goes wrong. But, like, there's really no risk in that. This is how you bring down the house making money in boxing. Like, this is how you do it. No, that's all good. That's all good, World of Wrestler. He's going to hit a 20-leg parlay. I always get burned in parlays. Well, not this week. All right. I still want to see what Brandon Lee on the money line, Brandon Lee by stoppage looks like. And I still want to see what Ergasev by stoppage looks like. I want to see what the fight the under looks like. I have questions on this, and we'll probably revisit this on Friday. But here's what I would do. Someone parlay this. Omar Trinidad -800. Brandon Lee -3,500. Joe Joyce -475. Ergashev minus 800. Let's start with that. What? Someone parlay those odds for me. What do we have if we parlay minus 800, minus 800, minus 3,500, minus 475? There's a 4-leg parlay. We can do that too. We can make it a 5-leg parlay if that's not good enough for you. He's not lying either. Rocky says last week I hit a 9-leg parlay. I bet it's right. He's not lying. He hit a 9-leg parlay. This can be done in boxing. This can be done, and this is how you can bring down the house in this sport. That's what makes betting on this sport so unique. It can be done. He did. He bet $200 and won like $2,500. I saw it. He's not capping. That happened. We'll get you, World of Wrestling. We'll get you. Join the Patreon. I'll get you a lock of the week. World of Wrestling. We hit parlays every single week in the Patreon on the lock. Every week. Sean Noakes. I like Sean Noakes. I don't know anything about his opponent. I've never heard of this guy. You guys want me to do a video on Sean Noakes next? I know y'all wanted me to do Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields is going to win by decision. We already know that. Like you want to spoil alert? Clarissa Shields wins by decision. Tonight I'm going to drop the Michelle Rivera video. Do you guys also want me to do this Sean Noakes versus Inder Bassi? I don't know about this guy. I don't know who he is. I got to watch the tape on him. I can do this. I can drop this for you tomorrow. I like Noakes a lot. I would imagine he's going to win, but I don't know who this guy is. Is he an Indian guy? No, he's from the UK also. He's 12-1, 1 knockout. Oh, sorry about that. You can add Michelle Rivera to the money line. I think of the four that I think Michelle Rivera, I'm dropping that video tonight. I think Michelle Rivera is definitely going to win. But I think of all the guys I put on that, he's the least safe. I think Michelle Rivera is definitely going to win. That video drops tonight. Check it out tonight. I'm going to drop it overnight tonight. Sean Noakes is good. Yeah, I think so. Here's the guy Sean Noakes is fighting. 12-1, a little bit more experience. He lost really early in his career to Jack Martin. 3-0. This guy looks okay. He's got 1 knockout in 13 fights, 12 wins. He clearly can't punch. Why do I not know this guy? He's fought on some decent cards. He's fought in New York Hall. I'm going to check this guy out. I'm going to drop a video on this. This might be a nice little bet. This might be a nice little bet to add. No, I like Noakes a lot. This is good. I know I told you I would do Clarissa Shields. The Clarissa Shields video is boring. Clarissa Shields wins by decision. Okay? I can save you that. I'm going to do this Noakes video next. Noakes is minus 600 on Hard Rock, which is good for boxing. Yeah. This guy looks like he probably has some skill. He can probably box a little. But he doesn't look like he's got much, right? There's nothing on his resume. He fought one undefeated prospect, Jack Martin, and lost. But that was years ago. When was this? This is the guy he lost to. I would imagine, but I don't want to. I don't know anything about this guy, so I don't want to give you a bad advice. Let me do the video on this. I would think this is a fairly easy fight for Sean Noakes, but let me check that out. Let me watch the tape on this guy Inder Bassi, who I've never heard of, who I probably should know, but I just don't know who he is. I like this parlay, bro. Rivera, Ergashev, Lee, Noakes, Clearsha. Rivera, Ergashev, Lee, Noakes. Yeah. I mean, that looks safe as can be. Minus 164. Let me watch this, Muscles, and then, yeah, let me do a video. I don't know this guy Inderbasti. Let me watch some tape on him. I would imagine that he's gonna win, but I don't know. I don't know anything about him. Do a video on Sean Noakes. No, you do a video on Christian. All right, yeah. You want some insight on Umar Khan? Deep amateur background, right? Really good amateur background. I think he's like 5'8", so he's kind of tall for the 12-foot weight class. Really, really good skills. You know, I'm not trying to say like he's a typical British prospect, but he's a typical British prospect. Fundamentally sound, good skills, doesn't seem to have a bunch of pop, doesn't score knockouts. Really, really good from the outside, moves well, right? Very fundamentally sound, good speed, boxer from the outside who doesn't really commit to a shot and doesn't look for knockouts. He's fighting. Who's he fighting? He's fighting absolutely nobody. He's fighting Kader Hamini, who's from France. 4-2-2. Opponent level guy. He's lost 2 fights in a row. Yeah, Umar Khan is going to win that fight. Yeah, that's the. We can say whatever we want about Umar Khan. Umar Khan is clearly going to beat this guy. You know, yeah, I think Umar Khan is going to go and win a British title, and then he's going to fall short at the world stage. It's kind of my prediction for him. He'll do great at the European level, the British level. At the world stage, he's going to fall short. But this is who Umar Khan is fighting. He's also the 16-11 guy and got stopped by a 6-0 prospect. He's got a draw with 1-0. I mean, obviously, Umar Khan's going to wipe the floor with this guy. It's not even going to be a competitive fight. Do I think Dennis McCann is someone to bet into the parlay? Like, I would favor McCann to win. Here's why. Minus 200. It's not bad. All right, what was it about minus 200? I'd rather bet Ryan Garner. I think Ryan Garner is safer than Dennis McCann. I think Ryan Garner is good. I don't think much of Dennis McCann as a prospect. And when a guy's not that good, like I don't think Dennis McCann is that good. Like I don't think he's ever going to be like a world level guy. He can lose. Like I pick him to win. He's 15-0-1. He's got a draw previously with Belota. I think McCann's going to win, but I'd hate to see you lose your parlay on a guy that's not very good. So, look, if you want to take it, I think you should be good. If you want to take the fight to go the distance or take the over, I like that a lot. I think this fight's definitely going over for sure. Belota always goes the over. He's fought 21 times. He's 3 times he's been stopped inside the distance, right? So I would look at something like that. McCann minus 150 for the decision. It's not a bad bet. What's the over? Does the fight go the distance? I would look at that. I would look at other ways to bet that fight. But look, McCann, I would favor McCann in a rematch. I do favor him in a rematch. Yeah, I would say that betting McCann as a standalone bet would be better. I don't want to see you ruin your parlay on a guy that I don't think is very good. I think that I would favor him to win. I'd say the chance of him winning is probably 75%. But if you're gonna, he's not good. Like he's not a good boxer, right? Like he's a boxer who gets hit a lot, and there's nothing next level or special about him, so he could lose. Minus 150 for December. It's probably like my guess is it hits, but I don't think it's worth the risk. Rocket, like I know you like to do crazy parlays, so then like do it. Like it seems sensible. Nate says, "Let's go Mets." I saw the Mets were up 5-2. Are they still up 5-2, Nate? Last I saw was 5-2. They were beating the Yankees. What's up, Nate? Rocket says minus 210. Joe Joyce KO. Joe Joyce KO. It's a good bet. Is that because I don't have that's Hard Rock, obviously, right? Because I don't have any props on that yet, unless they just dropped. They dropped stuff while we were live. Oh, look, before we didn't have props, now we do. They just added props. Minus 210. Let's go. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Minus 210, Joe Joyce. I like it. I like that. Minus 210, Joe Joyce by KL. I think it's good. Yes, sirree. They dropped early in the day. All right. And they just dropped while we were live today. Like while we were live, at some point, they just dropped the odds on that. So look, I'm giving you a lot. Joe Joyce, Ergashev, I like that a lot. Omar Trinidad, I like that a lot. I think those are three that you can lock up. You want to add Umar Khan or Brandon Lee to it to bring down the odds a little bit, or Clarissa, you can do that. I'm gonna check out Sam Noakes. I'm gonna check. But if Sam Noakes wins, that's gonna be a staple to my parlay. Sean Noakes. If Sean Noakes wins, that's gonna be Sean Noakes is a good prospect. Hard hitting, come forward guy, decent skills, good power boxer. He's a guy that he has world level capability. So I'd imagine he's going to beat this guy Inder Basti. But I'm going to do that video tonight. Tomorrow, I will drop it tomorrow night, and then we'll take a look at this moving forward. But I'm going to wrap it up. I've been live for over a half hour already. I'm getting a little tired. I want to watch the rest of this Met game. Other than that, let me know what you guys think. Any last minute thoughts, comments, questions, super chats, anything like that, leave it now or forever hold your peace. I will be live again tomorrow about this time. I may or may not go live with Vulcan. I appreciate everyone for dropping by, leaving your comments, questions, super chats, all that stuff. Remember, if you have not joined the Patreon, join the Patreon now. Link is in the description. We make money. We hit parlays every week. Like, we hit parlays every single week, and you can go through. You can go through my videos. You can join the Patreon. You can see what I've done. We hit parlays every week. You can ask Rocket. You can ask Muscles. You can ask those guys that have been here. We hit our parlays every single week. All right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap this up. I've been live for going on 34 minutes. It is July 24th from Texas to the world. Thank you and God bless. Rocket at the buzzer. This week I make 3,000. Last week it was 20-something hundred. This week it's 3,000. Let's go. Let's go.